This thing only started 8 weeks ago, so we're very excited to actually be able to say to you, we're going to give you an advertorial here. You must come down and see the catalyst, because it's actually got a full running end-to-end demo with real devices, which are managed by the Intel chipset with patents from BT. Let's go on to the next slide. So we've got a couple of guys you recognize standing here, but here are our colleagues for this catalyst. And as I just said, the requirement here is to bring together all these pieces to satisfy this worldwide ecosystem approach to really change the conundrums of the fourth industrial revolution. If we take an ecosystem on a global basis, really it requires frictionless trading relationships. And of course, you can see different companies from different sectors. Why are they being held back? We'll come to that in a moment. But of course, most of the customers do expect a self-service scenario. I mean, the reality is that all of us expect to be able to use this for buying stuff. And the expectation is in the way the world's going, that for the far more complex stuff, it also needs to be on this. It's got to be self-service. It can't just be reliant upon lots of manual processes. So the problem statement is, to be successful, the smart digital tsunami will need to really echo what's happened in the consumer digital tsunami. Clearly, customers expect an increasingly similar service, whether it's smart office, smart grid, smart energy, smart factory, smart city. They really want to be configure and buy and just self-serve. So really, there are complex barriers that are getting in the way to enable this to happen. Frictionless trading is one. Really having an industry-agnostic, repeatable pattern, so any type of industry can partner. Getting rid of the manual processes to achieve the zero-touch IoT establishment in-life management, and ensuring a secure, non-hackable scenario for devices and systems, and of course, providing this millisecond decision-making capability at the edge. And actually, we're not going to tackle this in that order. We're going to start here, because that actually is a really core part, and absolutely we'll see how Intel's technology, how nice Intel's just there, are actually sitting inside this. But enabling that to happen, BT put 24 patents out there to enable that to happen. And so we're going to go down here. We'll go to look at what the millisecond decision-making capabilities are and why they're required, which drives the need for frictionless trading, and then finally the industry-agnostic repeatable patterns. And by the way, when you come down to our demo, you'll see that we have really solved this, and it's quite a significant impact. Let me pass over to Mo, and he'll tell you why.
Hi again. So yes, the problem statement of the IoT era has changed. Now the problem is about the scale and security. So for the very first and the most important use case of this frictionless ecosystem, we chose the IoT onboarding and secure onboarding and zero-touch onboarding and in-life management. The reason for that is that there are so many manual processes in this scenario that we need to get rid of that and provide a scalable solution which is like zero touch and actually secure. Give you an example. We are talking about 30 billion devices by end of this year, and only talking about 3 million of them. As McKinsey says, 25 minutes manual provisioning minimum for per device. It's 500 man years for provisioning these devices. It's absolutely impossible, even for 3 million devices for one customer. So the solution we have actually, the problem we have in the market was, first, the technology wasn't there. So companies like Intel actually had revolutionary technology for the chip, currently, like in the last few months. They call it SDO, Secure Device Onboarding. It's quite complex. I'm not going to talk about it. Come to the booth and we're talking about it. But actually, Intel is working with like ARM, Bosch, different industry and standard bodies to make it happen in scale and secure down to the chip with a late binding for the customer, so the customer can choose the device management of the choice later on down the board. And the solution we have for this is simple, but based on the complex scenario. So as you can see, we have many players in the game, and even in this demo, Intel, BT, AWS, Nokia, so many different players. So that's the next problem. Technology is there now, but the problem is that how these businesses talking to each other and create the services for the customer in the single place, in the single market, and how the customer can actually procure this product. So that's why we have this frictionless open ecosystem in where when for example, like a smart camera arrives in the scene, it just needs to be installed and just turned on. Automatically it connects to the network. Automatically it's established a bidirectional trust using Intel SDO solutions and secure the connection down to the chip. And using the secure link, actually, the set of instruction protocols and applications push to the device with the device management. And as you can see, on each action, you can see a $ happen in different directions. So many parties here actually are getting paid, and we are handling all of these transactions. I'm proud to say that for the first time in the world, actually, we solved the most important challenge in the IoT using partnership with all of these brilliant hyperscaler companies within the open commercial ecosystem. I'll pass to Andrew, but if you need more information, come to the booth.
Thanks, Mo. So moving on to the millisecond requirements. So what we're seeing really in smart power, smart manufacturing, smart surveillance and security is that one really has a requirement for 4 millisecond decisions, 1 millisecond decisions, 2 millisecond decisions. And so it's not just about having a device out there, but also you've got to bring together, of course, the 5G with the latest technology coming out of the 3GPP to give the right latency, but also when it's cloud at the edge. So one can bring all of these things together to enable, as it were, a repeatable approach, which is completely secure, together with 5G and, of course, cloud at the edge. So this enables each of these industries to solve, as it were, the problems they've currently got, and they're stuck. For example, in manufacturing, it's surprising. There's a company that has a metal lathe, which is at £40,000 worth, and they've only got 1 millisecond to actually stop it when it vibrates from breaking the main lathe spindle, which would be another £40,000. But of course, without actually having a system which can give that millisecond decision, which this would be able to, there's no point in putting out a preventive maintenance service to support the manufacturing use of those machines. So looking at this problem of frictionless trading, because of course each of these companies have got, as it were, very different ways of serving their customers, and in fact, many traditional companies are unable to provide self-service right now because they've got this sort of hazy sort of IT capability, which is very hard to actually extract and make sense of. So clearly when several companies try to get together, as we have in this particular demo, they've all got different ways of doing things and different languages, different data models, different technical dependencies. So actually making sense of that is a key issue. So of course, within the TM Forum, we have got some great standards, APIs and so on. And we've actually used the Infinova platform to provide this. And it provides the ability to onboard service providers and resellers and a bunch of other functionality. So each of the companies can onboard. Yes, they've got different data models, different technical dependencies, different articulation. But actually, this platform enables them to actually onboard their dependency rules, their pricing rules into a common language. So when they actually share the services, so of course, this pink company can sell its own stuff and understands it. But it doesn't understand the green company stuff unless this platform actually retains the rules the green companies put on so they can actually then start to sell together. So this is frictionless trading, which is also shown in the catalyst down below. So when BT started with ourselves on this journey, we said, well, where are we going to focus? And in fact, smart car parking became the first scenario. And of course, BT said, well, clearly we want to sell, as it were, the car parking solution out to our customers. Actually, we're going to need Intel to provide, or somebody managing Intel stuff, whichever makes sense, but we're showing Intel here as a scenario where Intel will have a tenant to the platform so they can onboard their own services and their own devices so we can consume them. Also, BT said, well, maybe they want to actually sell, oh, we've got 24 patents. We can monetize, we can enable them to consume the patents and let them go off in that direction too. So the cross-pollination between the partners became quite important. So we did a bit of homework and we came up with the next picture, which goes, okay, actually we've got a few more players here. So, we have BT, but actually, guess what? We've got AWS, who've got a great IT services suite. We've got ARM, of course, also adopting the use of the SDO from Intel. We've got Intel itself. We've got Axis, who makes cameras. We've got Amazon. We've got T-Mobile. And actually, there's a lot of movement inside that sort of set of relationships. And of course, modeling that actually became quite challenging as a starting point. So we said, let's just do a minimal viable demo, which is running downstairs. And in fact, since it was up and running just from the middle of last week, Mo's been driving forward and adding more and more services onto it, even though it's only a proof of concept, but it's actually pretty robust, which shows that it's working pretty well. But the important thing here is to look at the patterns. So we talked about a repeatable pattern. So if you look at these patterns in this sequence diagram between BT and the Intel tenants, which is not being done at an OSS level, it's actually being done at the business level. This enables a complete orchestration, and you see these repeatable patterns in these 2 pages, just for the, as it were, the self-service order and zero touch. And then, of course, you also have the pattern here showing how the in-life management is done and also the monetization. So these patterns are very easy to then replicate and enable other organizations to join the ecosystem. And finally, we just have a view here of the various partners' contributions here. People may know DigiGlue, Dirk Regal, who's with us as well. And of course, you can see we've got the Intel tenant, the BT tenant, and we've got a bunch of other technologies and a portal at the front. So come and see us. We've only given you a very quick snapshot. We hope that was interesting. Any questions?
We do have time for any questions from the audience. Anyone? No? Okay, well, go and see their booth then. So you guys are downstairs on the 2nd level, right?
B9. Yeah.
B9.
B9, there you go.
Far end on the right.
Go get a demo. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.